Report. Today is January 5th, 2023. I want to discuss the deteriorating economic environment. If you recall, late last year in November, Amazon announced that they would be cutting 10,000 jobs. Well, today, Amazon announced that it plans to cut 18,000 jobs, nearly doubling their initial announcement, citing slower consumer and corporate spending. CEO Andy Jassy said in an employee memo, "Between the reductions we made in November and the ones we're sharing today, we plan to eliminate just over 18,000 roles." Impacted employees will hear from Amazon starting January 18th. Amazon had expanded fast over the last few years, but now the e-commerce company has been evaluating its workforce levels, thinking about investments they want to make in the future, and prioritizing what matters most to customers and the long-term health of their business. Amazon has weathered uncertain and difficult economies in the past, and we will continue to do so, JC said. These changes will help us pursue our long-term opportunities with a stronger cost structure. However, I'm also optimistic that we'll be inventive, resourceful, and scrappy in this time when we're not hiring expensively and eliminating some roles. Jassy indicated the company has overlooked the importance of simplifying things while it pursued invention. The CEO promised that further efforts under its Invest and Simplify leadership principle would be tempered by a need to focus on the critical invention, problem-solving, and simplification that goes into figuring out what matters most to customers. This would include adjusting where we spend our resources and time and finding a way to do more for customers at a lower cost. According to JC, the layoffs will allow Amazon to pursue long-term opportunities with a lower cost structure. He did, however, describe the cuts as a difficult decision, noting that he is deeply aware that these role eliminations are difficult for people, and we don't take these decisions lightly or underestimate how much they might affect the lives of those who are impacted. Honestly, employees don't care about these statements at all because they're losing their jobs. I mean, what is a fired employee supposed to say? "Oh yeah, what a great decision. It makes me feel so much better that the company can make more money now that 18,000 of us are gone." It's just ludicrous. On December 4th, Amazon announced it had reached an agreement with certain lenders to provide $8 billion in unsecured loans to the e-commerce giant. The term loan will mature in 364 days with an option to extend for another 364 days, with the proceeds going toward general corporate purposes. Given the uncertain macroeconomic environment over the last few months, we have used different financing options to support capital expenditures, debt repayments, acquisitions, and working capital needs, an Amazon spokesman said in a statement. In November, Amazon was the first publicly traded company to lose $1 trillion market valuation, owing to a volatile economy that has sparked a broad sell-off in the technology sector. The company's shares fell 4.3% on November 9th, bringing its market value down to $878 billion from close to $1.88 trillion in July of 21. Amazon stock has lost nearly half of its value in 2022, and its holiday season performance forecast fell short of analysts' expectations in October. Amazon reported revenue of $127.1 billion in the third quarter, narrowly missing analyst expectations of $127.5 billion, while net income fell to $2.9 billion or 0.28 per share, a 9% decrease from the previous year's third quarter. The e-commerce behemoth also predicted the company's slowest fourth quarter growth in history, with between 2% and 8% growth compared to the fourth quarter of 21. So the company overextends itself because of poor management decisions, and employees have to pay the price. There's also another company, Salesforce, which is a cloud-based software company. They announced today that they plan to cut 10% of their workforce. In the next few weeks, the company estimates that it will affect roughly 8,000 of its 80,000 employees, saying the decision comes amid a challenging environment and as customers take a more measured approach to their purchasing decisions. Also yesterday, in a letter to employees, Vimeo CEO announced that they're cutting their workforce by 11% as it struggles with a deterioration in economic conditions. Also, Micron announced in a Securities and Exchange filing that it plans to reduce its headcount by roughly 10%, which comes out to roughly 5,000 of its employees, citing challenging industry conditions. Micron also said that their revenue fell from $6.64 billion to $4.09 billion. So again, I will say it. These companies are still posting billions of dollars in profits. So there's no reason why they need to let go of employees, even though like some years we have leaner years for these companies. They're still posting hundreds of billions of dollars. It's ridiculous. This is all being done to appease the shareholder. And again, the consumer suffers, the employees suffer, and their families suffer. It's just another example of what's happening in our economy. Yet the White House is silent. They say the economy is strong and robust. They're delusional. Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve keeps adding interest rate hikes, and they plan to do so again in January. Many people thought that they would be pivoting and lowering rates, but yesterday the Fed announced that they're going to keep pushing forward with raising the interest rate.